Hello, my name is Sarah Valentine. I'm an actor, I have been a casting director, an agent and an accent coach, and this video is to help you learn how to self-tape. Now there are a few things that you're going to need to do before you start filming. I recommend getting your studio and editing and uploading system all set up, ready first, so that when it's time to film, you're all set with minimal distractions. Setting up your studio. Now if you're lucky enough to have a light room with a plain neutral coloured wall behind you, that's awesome. Set your studio up in there. Otherwise you can always set up a plain coloured sheet opposite a nice big window. Now I've got a big window to my left and a big window to my right, so I try to get as much natural light as possible. If I need to have a ring light, which I do have over there, I can pop that up so that I can balance more light. Now if you are setting up by a window, make sure that the window is in front of you, not behind you, because otherwise you'll appear in silhouette and we want to see you. Now if you're not having much luck with natural light, you can always place a ring light or lamps behind the camera or to the side so that you have like a three-prong attack. Now what do you wear for your audition? Well, something plain is always good. You don't want to distract the casting director by wearing something that's got polka dots all over it, or you wear something that's relevant to the character. Now before you start filming, take a moment to listen to all the sounds around you. Are you near a busy road? I'm right next to a busy road, so I've shut all of my windows to make sure that the minimal amount of outside noise is happening. And don't put on a load of washing before you start filming, because that's going to be very distracting. Now once you're set up, do a test run. Check that your camera is good to go. Make sure that you can be heard and you're seen clearly with no distractions around you. Remember, you are the star attraction in this video. Learning your script. Now before you start filming, you will need to know your script inside out, upside down and backwards. And you need to understand the character. It's all well and good to know your lines, but if the character that you're playing is the workplace joker and you're sitting there crying your eyes out, you're not going to convince the casting director that you're doing a good job. So make sure that you really think about the character. What's the character's motivations? Really be the character that you're playing. Now if you haven't been given a huge amount of time to learn your script, you can hold your script. Don't tape it to the side of the camera, because the casting director is going to know that you're reading and they're going to figure it out. So faking that you've memorized your lines is a baddie. So like in an audition, hold them in your hand and just glance at them. We want to get the most natural and beautiful performance that we can. Now if your script involves another character, I highly recommend that you get a reader to read the lines in between yours. Now try and get a friend or a family member to help to be your reader, but they do need to stand behind the camera. Don't have them in shot. Again, you don't want to distract the casting director with other people in shot. Otherwise you can try apps like ScenePal or Actor Trade. They have really great options on recording and learning your lines. There's also, you could just record using the phone recorder on your phone, and then make sure that you just leave gaps so that when you're filming you can react properly. If the other lines can't be heard very well, just pop them in the editing suite. Now when you're filming, always film in landscape, not portrait, and make sure that you never look directly at the camera unless you've been specifically asked to. So have your eye line within the camera, but you can look slightly to the left or to the right of the camera. So you really want to be, you have your whole head in frame. I've kind of zoomed forward a bit so that you can see. You don't want to be too high in the shot, and you certainly don't want to be too low in the shot. You kind of want to be just about there-ish, and then you want to have your eye line to here or to here, because the casting director needs to see all of this. Okay, so going back to shooting, your phone or camera needs to be on a tripod or sitting on something really steady. You don't want to have too much movement. Now if you have a microphone, you can always attach that as well. That would be great. Otherwise the microphone on your phone or your camera will suffice, but just make sure that you can be heard clearly. Now, self-tapes can take a little bit of time and sometimes it gets a little bit stressful, so just record, step away from the camera, get away from the camera, and just have a break. Don't let it stress you out if you aren't getting it perfect the first time, but practice does make perfect. You'll probably find that you'll end up going back to the first take that you did and use that one. Now, once you've got that great take, you can edit and upload. As you should have filmed in one take, so the tape can only be one take, you can trim the beginning and trim the end. Now, if you've been asked to do multiple scenes, you can sew those scenes together, but do not edit a scene together. You have to do the take in one take. Now, you're going to need to add a title card at the beginning of your take. So this usually does include your name, your agent, and the role that you're playing. And it might also, they might want to know your height and any other information. So just double check what's on the actual brief. Now, they might also ask you to do an ID, which means that you're going to have to do a long shot of yourself holding a card, and then you may even have to do profiles where you turn from left to right. Now, once you've edited your video, you're going to need to convert it into a format that's easily uploadable. I always convert my MOV files to an MP4 and I use Handbrake. That's a really great tool. Now, before you send your video, you should label it as instructed. So you would write your name, the role, and the project, just as an example. If it's not specified how to send through your video, we use WeTransfer.com. It's free and it's an easy way to send files. And then once you've sent it, you'll be notified that it's been received and downloaded. Sending large files directly through email can cause delays, and you always want to make sure that the casting director gets it. So using something like WeTransfer is really good. Always remember to double check and follow all of the requirements and instructions that you've been sent by the casting director before you send in your self-tape. Now, directors will see a lot of self-tapes, so it's important that they can quickly recognise you. So making sure that you label things correctly is the best way to go. Okay, so there you have it. Just remember, don't fret over them too much. The more self-tapes you do, the better you will become. My name is Sarah Valentine, and this is the Self-Tape Academy.